Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Empowered, presented by Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation. If you don't know me yet, my name is Rebecca Durant-Hein, and I am a cancer thriver, actor, and founder of Arenda Cancer Community and blog. And now I'm your host for this evening. I want to encourage you guys, like always, to participate by posting any comments that you have or any questions that you might have for myself or the guests. And so we will do what we usually do and save 10 to 15 minutes at the end to get to as many of those questions as we can. So we have two absolutely amazing women joining me tonight on Empowered, Sarika and Dhara, and they are two of the amazing women that I met through working with Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation. Before I introduce them officially, though, we wanted to just share a little video about Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation and what we're all about. Okay, so for everybody, we would love for you to join Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube if you're not already. And that's the best place to go to find information, and you can contact us there about how you can get involved. So on to our guests. So tonight I'd like to welcome Sarika and Dhara. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to be talking tonight about all of our own journeys with cancer and how we got through it, and hopefully how we're finding joy on the other side. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves and share a bit of your stories with everybody. So, you know, when were you diagnosed? How did you find out? What was your diagnosis and your treatment? Anything else that you might want to share? Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go
Okay.
first. I'm more excited, I guess, about it. Yeah, well, so 2015, yes, a very remarkable year for me, I would say. Like, can't forget about it. Yes, right in the beginning of the year, yeah, it was a self-diagnose, and I felt something like a lump in my left breast, and haven't, even thought that, it was cancer. I just went to the doctor. I don't know, you get that sixth sense where you feel that, something is not right. I don't have any family history, nothing whatsoever. Just heard this word. Yes, there is something which is called cancer. And I went to the doctor, just to basically just to get checked, because for me it was just to get checked. But yes, that's when it started. Right from the doctor's office visit, I was the next day at the hospital getting my mammogram to ultrasound, and right the same day actually got my biopsy done, and
Wow.
within 2 days it was declared that yes, I have stage 2 cancer. um, it, it's very shocking because you feel everything is done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's normal to feel that at that given point of
Oh
time,
yeah.
right? Like the life is over for you,
Oh
like
yeah.
it's done. But well, I did take my 2-3 days just to basically feel, or and to
Yeah.
kind of think that yes, okay, I'm still alive, so
Yeah.
don't think about it and don't think that everything is done. It's not a death sentence.
Nope.
And then started the journey. Yes, I had to muster a lot of courage for myself, and but then I thought it, okay, I already have it, right? Now what worse can get, like what
Right.
else can it go wrong?
Yeah.
A lot of people, they start getting scared, but I would
Yeah.
say, what, the scary part has already happened. You already
That's a good
got it,
point.
so it cannot
Yeah.
go wrong anymore.
Yes.
That's
That's
the
an
worst thing
excellent
already
point.
happened.
Yeah.
Now actually, it's a time to come back because you already got the diagnosis.
Right.
Then starts your journey. It's a
Mm-hmm.
long journey. Yes, you have your your all your surgeries, followed with chemo, followed with radiation and whatnot, depending upon what kind of cancer you have.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty much active treatment, I would say, for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a tough one. I'm not gonna say it's
Yep.
easy, guys. It's a tough treatment. But again, remember, everything has already started, with everything being wrong and negative. Now we have to change it to positive. So
That's
with the
right.
positive energy, with the strength, with the courage, and of course, love of your family, and most important, your willpower, you have to
Yes.
get through, which I did. And luckily, it's now 5 years down the lane. I actually, got my fifth year mammogram done last week, and it came out all clear. So
Good.
I'm just hoping this
Congratulations.
year.
Very good.
Thank you. So I'm hoping this year I will be declared cancer free as soon as I get the
Yes.
oncology treatment, the not the treatment, sorry, the oncology appointment
Appointments.
done, and I should be cancer free.
That's
So there you
fantastic.
go.
Wonderful. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, the 5-year mark is a really huge milestone. It's at that point that your risk drops significantly, and it's like, yeah, it's a really big milestone for patients. So that's super exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And Dara, what about you? Why don't you give us a little bit of information about your story?
Sure. Thank you, Rebecca, for having me in the show
Of
today. I'm
course.
so excited, and I would like to thank Navneet Sharma, the co-founder of Cancer
Yes.
Warrior, the NGO which supports women empowerment and survivors and also helps them. She's a wonderful woman who goes out of her way to do things. I
Oh,
salute
yeah.
her spirit. And I'm very happy that and fortunate that I was introduced to Cancer Warrior Navneet by a very, very close friend of mine. And life has been beautiful after that. And it's indeed wonderful to share my experience with everybody here. It was again 5 years down the lane, February 2014. I was happily enjoying my birthday, and I noticed a lump on my breast. That's when things started bothering me because I've been very healthy. I've never missed work. I've never missed my school. So I was like, what's going on? Let me just get a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. So that's all I started. It's also self awareness with me. That
Yeah.
was the beginning point of me getting introduced to this. So I went for an appointment and I was said that, it's just nothing and it'll be everything is fine. I went for a second appointment from another doctor which told me that, it's just a lump and women at young age like you always have these kind of lump and
Mm-hmm.
just put an ointment and it should just go away. So I somehow felt something was not right in my body and something needs to be taken urgent care. So I
Yes.
kind of went for further consultations and from doctor's opinion. And after multiple of tests, series of biopsies and surgeries, it was found out that yes, there was a tumor, and then they took it out, and then the news hit me, which is like out of 32 nodes, one node came out to be positive for cancer. So today it gives me shivers to talk about that because it was a very emotional moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Tears rolled down my eyes. I could not believe my ears. I
Yeah.
kept asking the doctor, are you really sure I have cancer? She said, you have it.
Wow.
For a moment, my life came to a complete stop. I felt, we've always said life is too short. Jokingly, unknowingly, we say this, but I felt it. I felt those were my
Yeah.
last breaths. Having no family history, just like Sarika, I have no family history of cancer. I don't drink, I don't smoke. A girl who's always been home, having homemade food, what happened to her all of a sudden?
Right.
But again, something which has to come has to be faced. You just can't let it go. So I made it a point and I decided not to take it's okay as an answer from anybody, but unreveal the final answer of what it was to fight it back. So that was my journey. And then I had chemotherapy, I had radiation, I went through the whole process, but I had support. And I would like to talk about it later. What kind of
Absolutely.
support? Keep tuned to it.
We'll get to it. Yeah. That's really, really commendable. I think that you pushed for that, you knew something was wrong in your body and that you really pushed for it and stood up for yourself. I think unfortunately, I've heard this a lot from young women who have been diagnosed, is that they were not taken seriously at first. And I think it is something that happens often with young women. I know someone personally who went a year from when she started feeling symptoms until she finally, a doctor agreed to give her a CT scan. So I think that, yeah, it's really great. A really great story for people listening to hear, because if they feel like something is wrong in their body, you just have to stand up for yourself. You just have to push. So good for you. Yeah. And I think we actually we also have kind of similar stories. I also, found my own lump myself, and I was young. I was 28, virtually no history of breast cancer in my family, didn't smoke, didn't drink very much. I ate pretty healthy, I thought. I probably could have exercised more, but yeah, so it's really interesting. We all kind of have a similar story. So absolutely, you have to be vigilant, and you have to know yourself, and you have to, push when you feel like something's wrong. So let's get right into it. So what for each of you was the most challenging aspect of cancer, and how did you get through it, or what did you have any tools that you used to get through it that you'd like to share?
So the most challenging part, when we say it's the beginning itself, right? When you get the information, or when you start realizing that yet you have it, as Dhara said, that just to basically get that, for it to sink in that you have it. It's just a name, and just that big C word is like so scary. So that
Yes.
itself is very challenging. And the first thing that which is like a common thing that everybody feels, if you have it, probably not going to make it, right? And I don't blame anyone to think like
No.
that. Yes, it is like a very fatal disease, and God forbidden if it reaches to that level where it cannot be cured. Yes, it is very challenging. But yes, we all have to remember that medical science has I would say progressed so much that up to stage 3 of especially the breast cancer, you can still be cured.
Yes.
Chances your prognosis is still not that bad, and we kind of have to believe in it. But yes, when we talk about the challenges, chemotherapy is very something which is very challenging. It is not easy. It is the hardest treatment in the world. I wish nobody ever has to go through chemotherapy. But again, as I mentioned before, that everything has already gone wrong. Like you've started from something which is like that bad. Yes, there's a lot of notion about chemotherapy that it will destruct your body and you will have the after effects and whatnot. But again, now this is my personal opinion, and everybody has their own choice what route they want to take. I was given the choice by my doctors that, because remember, we are in Canada, we have to agree to the line of treatment being offered to us, right? Like it's not forced, and they do tell you all the side effects of chemo and what all can go wrong. But remember, again, it's a disclaimer like any other. Even if you take a painkiller, guys, you know there are disclaimers. Right. So these are the disclaimers. It does actually scare you a lot in the beginning, because remember, you're already in that mode where everything is like so scary. But again, I did take that route. I said, okay, for me, chemo was more like an insurance that, I was kind of buying, that now probably, whatever cells were there, after the surgery is done, even they're gonna be leaving my body. But yes, it is very, very challenging to go through chemo, and especially as we all know, being young women, your body's gonna go through so much of changes during
So
chemo. You're
much.
gonna lose your hair. Yeah, your looks are gonna be so different, and then sometimes you lose a lot of weight, sometimes you gain a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And yes, you are pretty conscious about your looks when you're young, and why not? Everybody wants to look beautiful at all the time. But remember, beauty is what comes from inside. It's not the physical appearance. And whatever it may take, I did go through my chemo treatment, which was literally very aggressive. I had 16 sessions of chemo, and it lasted for 6 months. So that was very, very difficult. A lot of people do say, like, don't take that route. But remember one thing, guys, that, that is the only one which is clinically proven over and over. Like, we do have the results for that, right? Like, we all know that, chemo has, proved it to be very helpful for people. So whichever route you take, just make sure that, you know that, it will work for you. But yes, again, going back to the same point, that was very challenging.
Very challenging.
Very challenging. Like sleepless nights, body pain. Like, I can't even, count how many problems. I'm sure Dhara will vouch for that.
Yes. Yeah. And I think you make a really good point. Whatever route you choose, you have to believe in it.
Yes.
And I think that also helps get through some of the really difficult parts of treatment, is that you've made that choice, knowing both of the potential outcomes and the side effects and all of that. So it helps knowing that, like, yes, I made this choice for me because I know it's the best choice. That does help a lot. Yeah. And what about you, Dhara?
Okay, so for me, the main point for accepting was acceptance. Like the biggest challenge for me was accepting, because if any kind of problems we face, the first thing is a challenge is to accept that problem, that, I have this problem and I need to face it. So for me, the challenge in cancer was accepting, because I kept asking the doctor, do you really think I have it? So that's what the acceptance of that I have it and I need to face head on and not to give up was what was the biggest challenge. But then again, personally, I felt that defeat is not an option. And the whole mental stress and the trauma a person goes through this, and whole, like, it's I can't even express in words. It's so terrible. But two things which helped me, overcome all this was, one was my family. My family has been a tremendous support to me. Like my parents, my brother, they have been like pillars of support, guiding me through. Like, a baby is born in the house, you take care of that baby. It was like that. They have been, beside me. Like, I got a new life to live with them, again. And the amount of love, affection was amazing. And I remember my brother keep telling, when the going gets tough, the tough gets tougher. You have to keep it. So he used to jokingly tell me, and I was like, okay, that's some motivation. Like, anything I demanded for, I used to get it. It was like that. And the second thing which kept me really going was my spiritual learning. I have been a strong believer of SGI, which is Buddhism. I practice that, and I chant the mantra Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. This particular thing has given me immense courage, compassion, wisdom to fight this head on. It was not an easy journey, but with the practice, I was able to overcome my anxiety, my fear, my anxiousness, and I was able to come out of it by praying harder. And the beautiful thing about this whole practice was that the entire people, everybody around, they come and they strive with you. They want to make sure that you don't fall down. So it was such an amazing thing which attracted me, with this whole philosophy which talks about, how you can cultivate yourself and never give up. I would like to quote something from my mentor, which he said, master your mind rather than the mind master you. So
Yes.
it is like, it's all unto us. How do we react? If we think positive inside, our environment reacts positively. If we feel that we can beat cancer. Nobody can stop us. The whole environment, every nerve, every fiber will act according to that. It'll make
Yes.
you go ahead. So that's what this two things which kept me going was.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I really discovered the power of the mind body connection through all of this. And I've talked about it in previous episodes, but starting to meditate really helped me, my mental health, my emotional health, just so much in like really unexpected ways. And it was really that spiritual connection that I think I was missing. And that's why it helped me so much. But yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's really wonderful. And I'm so glad that you had that level of support from your family and your loved ones. That makes such a difference. For me, I think the biggest challenge was my treatment choices. Because if people don't know, I took an integrative approach. So I did some stuff from the conventional world, and then I did a lot of stuff from the alternative natural world, working with a naturopath and an integrative oncologist. So it was really, really hard for me to make those decisions about whether to finish chemo and whether to do radiation or not. So that was a huge struggle, but really just I informed my gut instinct with as many facts and as many opinions as I possibly could. And then I just kind of sat with it and felt it out. And it really came down to my gut in the end. It was just screaming no about certain stuff, and it was screaming yes about other stuff. So that would be my advice if someone is in a similar position, they don't know if they want to do chemo or they don't know if they want to do radiation, just sort of inform yourself as much as you possibly can, and then let your gut guide you, because it's very rarely wrong in my experience. Yeah. So I guess do you guys have any further like tips or tricks for getting through treatment? Like I know for me, for example, a friend of mine who had just finished treatment, she told me about green apples, and green apples actually have anti-nausea properties. And so she's like, just keep a bag in your purse and eat them all the time. And so that was really helpful to me. Another friend of mine used cabbage on her radiation burns, like cabbage juice and pulp, and it made them heal so much faster. Did you guys have any of those types of like tips or advice, like things that you did to get you through chemo and radiation, foods that were really comforting or really good, anything like that?
I'll let Dhara go first this time.
Oh, thank you, Sarika. So for me, the first thing is the right attitude. Having the positive
Huge.
attitude, having a smile on your face can take away a whole lot of your stress, and you feel more hungry. Because if you have no stress, you can eat more. But if you're stressed out, for me personally, if I'm stressed out, I can live without food the whole day. It's like
Right?
so
Me
difficult for
too.
me. So I feel that having the right kind of attitude and listening to your body, when your body gives this signal, it's very important to be able to react to them. Like, what
Yeah.
if I had not reacted to that lump? It would have
Right.
gone to fourth stage, and then it would be difficult for me now
Very.
because I was able to get it into an early stage. I listened. I just didn't take it. It's okay. It's there. It'll just go away. I made it a point to get to it. So listening to your mind, listening to your body, reacting,
Huge.
and being in close contact with good people. Like you need to have healthy food because that has an impact. But at the same time, you're psychologically you need to be strong enough to face that whole stress of chemo and radiation, which is not easy at all. So I believe that it's all comes down to your mindset. And again, I would like to quote my mentor, which he says in Buddha, winter always turns to spring. So good days will come, but you have to have the right kind of direction, right food, right action, and you can come back to that then.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Great advice. Great advice. Sarika, what about you?
To be honest, there was not something particular that I was doing, because trust me, that time you yourself
Just getting through.
don't know anything. Like you don't know
Yeah.
each session of chemo, where it's gonna take you, what's gonna happen. You really don't know, and everybody gets different effects of chemo, right? Like
Yeah.
how your body reacts to it. So it was more like on a day-to-day basis that how you're feeling, what you're gonna do about it. But yes, as you both ladies said, yes, healthy eating, and that is not something you have to tell anyone. Trust me, once that happens, yourself get into that mode where it's all about healthy eating
Yeah,
and doing everything right,
definitely.
because now you want to do everything right in your
Yes.
life because something has majorly gone wrong.
Wrong.
So now you
Yeah.
believe that, okay, everything I do, I need to do it right because I have to make it right. And yes, but as Dhara said, yes, stress. It is very stressful already.
Mhm.
Try to relieve your stress, try to remain happy, because remember, you give positivity to yourself. Like, you remain happy, your body will be happy, and your body will actually react to the medication and everything, and your
Mhm.
own willpower,
Yeah.
that you want to live. Because trust me, we can say whatever we want, but at the end of the day, when you close your eyes, when you go off to bed, the only thing that comes to your mind is, okay, I want to wake up the next day, right? Because
Yeah.
that kind of is there when you're going through something like that.
Yes.
So pretty much, but
Yeah.
you try to do everything
Yeah.
right, because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's right.
You try
Yeah.
everything. Like, nobody's an expert, because remember, none of us knew that it's coming, and we didn't do
Right.
anything wrong to get it.
No.
Even the doctors don't know why you got it, unless it's a genetic thing, right?
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
some people do get it genetic, through their genes, but I wasn't one of them. Like,
Yeah.
I did
No,
go
me
through my
either.
gene testing, and it actually came out negative. So
Yeah, me too.
then you don't know why you got it, and
Yeah.
yeah, like, you have
Yeah.
done everything right, as
That's
Dhara
right.
said. Never smoke, never drink, but trust me, guys, that's not the reason that you get it. I mean, if that was a reason to get cancer, there are people who are chain smokers, there are people who are have addiction of
Yeah.
alcohol. Not
Yeah.
everybody is getting
No.
the cancer. Nobody
No,
knows
there's
why it's there.
so many factors.
You
Yeah.
don't know, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you want to laugh at it, but by the time I was, like, I think 4 months into my chemo treatment, all my test and everything was done. Like, my gene testing was done, my bone scanning was done, and whatever, how they scan you right from your
Yes.
head to toe. And then one appointment, when I went and I asked my oncologist, I said, okay, so now everything came out clear. Like, there's nothing. Why did I get it? Imagine my oncologist, who was actually the head of the department at that time at the Brampton Civic, where I got treatment. And he was pretty learned, very learned person. And he said, sorry, but probably I can just say bad luck. The fault in your stars, probably, because
Yeah.
he had no answer to give it to me, right?
Yeah.
And that's
And
it.
nobody does. Like,
No one
nobody
does.
knows.
No.
Like, science
Yeah.
hasn't
Yeah.
found out.
You can speculate, on
Yeah,
why you think you did, but
yeah.
you really, at the end of the day, you don't really know, and it doesn't help to blame yourself, for choices you made that may or may not have had any kind of an impact. So yeah, if you can let any kind of like guilt or blame that you're holding on to, if you can let that go, that helps a lot in terms of healing. Yeah.
Rebecca said a very good point. Never
Yeah.
blame yourself. Never feel guilty
Mm-mm.
of doing anything wrong that you
No.
got it, because trust me, there is no guarantee or no confirmed what should I say, that reason that
Right.
anybody can tell you. It's just
Yeah.
like how coronavirus is happening right now. Nobody knows
Right.
where it's
No
coming
one.
from. What's
Yeah.
going on? It's
Right. It just
exactly the
is.
same way.
Yeah.
Yes,
It just is, and you have to deal with it.
you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like what you said. I mean, people say it all the time, stay positive, but it really is so important, especially once I started learning more about how much our mindset affects our body on a physical level. And yeah, what you said about like feeling positively about the drugs, or your body interacting with the drugs.
Yep.
I had a friend, tell me that she would just sort of say a little prayer over her chemo bag every time she was there, and just say, like, please find all the cancer cells and affect my healthy cells as little as possible. And because if you're mentally trying to fight the drugs that they're giving you, it's not going to be as effective, I don't think, anyway.
True.
If you're trying to, if you don't feel good about it. Yeah.
Because remember, you can take the treatment, but it is very important that the treatment needs to work on you.
That's right.
Right?
That's
The
right.
worst
Yeah.
is that you're trying to take a treatment and it's not even working on you.
Yeah.
Then there's, trust me, nothing in the world you can do about it.
No, that's right. That's right. So I want to ask kind of a good, a nice question here. I'm sure a lot of it will have to do with support, but is there something that you could not have gotten through cancer without?
I would say, as Dhara said, the support of the family. You can. This is not a fight, that you can fight it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can. You need people. Every day you need to be reminded that yes, you're being loved, and there are people who need you in this life, and your life is important. Remember, everybody's life is important in the world. Every human being, in fact, I would say any living being, every living being's life is important. But then there are times that you start doubting, and then you start thinking that everything is done. So it's very important to be reminded. You remind yourself and the people around you that yes, you are needed. You're pretty much needed. Without the support, yes, you cannot get through. You cannot get through cancer. You're already in that mode where everything is negative, wrong. It's scary. It's stressful. Anxiety. I mean, you can use all the wrong words that come to that surround you during that time.
That's right.
So again, when everything is finished, what you can ask for, it's the support. Yes, you need people around you to help you out. And people say, I never say I've been unlucky. No, I've not been unlucky. Yes, it happened, but we all are lucky people that we had people who saved us. We had people who gave us so much support, and here we are today talking about it. Right? We got everything back, like my hair and my eyebrows and everything. We all are. Yeah, look at Dhara. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, we all and. Yeah, as a woman, very important that you feel that you feel good about yourself. If you don't feel good about yourself, you will never be happy. So
that's very
people
true.
around you need to make you feel that they love you, they care about you, and then it gives you an objective, to live. Like how you get up in the morning, and if you feel there is no purpose in life, you anyway is gonna get sick. You're gonna get ill. There is no purpose. For me, a very important thing was that back then, 5 years ago, both my kids, they were like one was teenager and one was like around age 8 or 9, and I would look at them every day and tell God that I'm gonna raise my kids myself, so there's nothing gonna go wrong with me, because I'm the one who's gonna take care of them. So you kind of get an objective that you have a family.
You set an intention. You say, it is my intention to survive this for this reason, and it's gonna happen. Yeah, wonderful. Dhara, what about you?
For me, back to Sarika, and again, my family. I don't know how can I give back what they've given back to me. Like no words, nothing can express the gratitude, the immense amount of love they've shown. From diamonds to phone, I've got everything in my cancer. What else could a person desire for? My brother made it like a gala for me. Just like Navneet makes it a gala for all of us. My brother made a gala for me, by giving me gifts and gifts and gifts, and everybody likes gifts, and you forget about you're going through chemo, you're going through all that. And the second thing, again, I come back to my SGI, my Buddhist practice. It has been a real motivator for me. Like today, I sit here, it's because of my practice, because of the chanting which I have done, and the members who supported me, without any self-centeredness. They just did it because they wanted me to get up and not lose hope, to have the compassion for everybody. I've learned from Buddhism. So it has been a real thing. And I don't want to forget of my work. Like, if I wasn't working, I wouldn't have got through that. My job has given me tremendous support. Like they told me, work from home, do whatever you want, but we want you to be happy. So that makes
so
a lot.
helpful.
When your surrounding lets you so comfortable, you feel that cancer is just nothing. Like I have heard Navneet saying, a lot of times that, cancer is just nothing. We can all beat it. We'll fight it. So that spirit only comes in when you have a positive environment supporting you. And I want to give credit to my mom who made delicious food for me, from soups to salads to juices. And that was the time I was treated like a royal queen who asked for anything and was given everything.
You got it.
I got through all this.
That's so nice.
It's a complete package. Makes this journey so smooth, and it just flip on. Like I just can't even express how it passed by. But without them, it wouldn't have been possible.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky too, in that I had a lot of really great support as well. I felt a lot of guilt at the beginning because of course, now my family and my loved ones were going to have to go through this with me. And I think actually the first thing I said to Jesse, my partner, after I told, because I was unfortunately by myself when I received my diagnosis.
Oh,
So because I thought it was nothing. So I was like, oh, I'll go to the appointment. It's fine. No, but
no.
yeah, so I think the first thing I said to him when I came home was, I'm really sorry that you love me, because now you're going to have to go through this. And, but none of my family or Jesse, they never made me feel like, going back to the guilt thing, right, and the blame, like they never made me feel like it was my fault. They never made me feel like it was, something I was doing to them or anything like that. Yeah, they were just wonderfully supportive, and that's just so important. And if you don't have, and because I do know that there are a lot of people out there who don't have a really close support network, they don't have a lot of friends, or maybe they don't have their family close by. If you don't, I would highly suggest finding a support group in your area, if you can, specific to your type of cancer, because they'll just understand so well and instantly, because that's something else I could not have gotten through this without, is meeting so many other wonderful women through support groups and other organizations who just understood. Like, I didn't have to explain what I had been through. I didn't have to explain how hard it was or what it felt like or how scary it was even afterwards. They just understood. So that was really important for me as well. So yeah, if you're in that boat where you don't have a lot of like family or friends around, there are so many wonderful support groups and organizations. And it can be scary stepping out, because then you have to talk about it, you have to acknowledge it, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And you'll feel better, honestly, after you've talked about it with other people who get it. So yeah, those are mine. So I think this is obviously going to be a yes, but what sorts of, like, have you experienced any big changes in your life after cancer? When we look at like our life before cancer and our life afterwards, I think a lot of people feel like, oh, well, you're done treatment and your hair's grown back and you have your eyebrows back, like, let's just, go back to normal. But that doesn't, that's not really what it feels like. So what are some changes or differences that you've noticed in your life after cancer?
To be honest, when you say, normal, everybody
Normal.
has their own definition of normal. And yes, you're so right, Rebecca. It's not just about hair or your eyebrows or anything. Cancer changes you completely.
It does.
So after your treatment, actually, that's the hardest part, because when you are getting through the treatment, remember, you're being taken care of every day. Like, you're going in and out of the hospital, literally, living there, because you have so many treatments, so many appointments, and then you have active treatment. So you already know that nothing's going to go wrong now, because it's kind of the you're being protected.
Safety net. Yeah.
Yes. Right. But once it's done, then it's like, okay, what now? There is a fear that, okay, now nobody's watching me anymore.
Yes.
Because when you're going to the hospitals, you feel everybody's watching.
Oh yeah, nurses, doctors.
Yes, there's nothing that can go wrong with you now. But now the treatment is over. Now you're on your own. All those schedules, those chemo appointments, those radiation appointments, they're all done. Now it's just you. Now you have to take care of yourself. And yes, the entire family is there, but after, even when you're done your active treatment, they also kind of start believing, yes, she's fine and everything will be fine. So that is one aspect. But yes, deep inside, a cancer survivor, trust me, that fear will never go away. Never. We can be very strong. We can say whatever we want, but every cancer survivor knows that, for your lifetime, that's the biggest change that you're going to feel. That fear will always be there. Yes, you can overcome it. It's kind of in the background. It takes like a backseat, but it's always there. It's been 5 years. Even till date, if I get anything that persists, in my body for over like 2 or 3 days, the first thing that it's like, it rings a bell. Okay, I hope everything's okay. Nothing's coming back, right? And you get paranoid, kind of in that stage.
You do, you really do.
Yes, but with years, I would say, it kind of settles down. So that is one aspect of that. That's how your thinking changes about how you start taking too much care of your body. Actually, now it's like okay, nothing should go wrong with me anymore. Now you come to yourself way too much.
That's right.
I'm sure you ladies gonna agree to that.
Yeah.
The other thing that really happens to you is now your perspective towards life, it changes. It totally changes. Trust me, because remember, you have seen we've seen death
Yes.
very close,
Oh, yeah.
Close.
very close, and you kind of got the taste of it. Remember, I wish nobody has to ever go through this, but you know what it is, to get up every day without any fear of getting any kind of health issue or anything like that, anything that scares you. Like, you want to be free in your mind, that
Yes.
you don't want to think about anything anymore. You just want to be free and live your life to its fullest. So that's what you want to do. So your perspective changes towards life.
It
Now
does.
you start valuing everything. In my before, also with Cancer Warrior, I've been there for past 3-4 years, and we've done previous shows also, and I always used to say this thing, that the first time, trust me, I went after my treatment, when I got my eyebrows back, and I went for to get my threading done. I
Yeah.
was so happy about it. I'm like, wow, life is normal.
It feels
Yeah, I
normal.
can get threading done. I can,
Yeah.
cut my hair. I can do my
Yeah.
hairstyling. It really matters. Like, you value everything in your life.
Everything. Every
Yeah,
little thing.
every
Yeah.
little thing. So
So true.
yes, you change. You
You
do
do.
change, and trust me, it's not just you. People around you, especially your family, like your spouse, your parents, your kids, your siblings. Everybody changes with you. Whoever loves you will change.
Oh, yeah.
Even their perspective changes because of you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a very good point, too, that there's like a ripple effect.
It
Yeah.
is,
It's not
yes.
just us, for sure.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm. What about you, Dhara?
Yeah, I completely resonate what Sarika just said. I actually became a better version of myself, and I think it
Hmm.
was good that things happened at the right age for me to learn. If it would have happened at a later age, I would I've already lived my life now. What else? But
Right.
I'm thankful to God that I was given the chance to get up, fight, and come back. And I totally also agree with Sarika about, when I lost my hair, that was the most painful part of chemo is painful, I agree. But losing for a girl to
Yeah.
lose her hair,
Yep.
it's like you are tear apart, your clothes are tear apart from you. It's like that for me. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, I just yelled at my mom and I combed my hair and my hair came down, like
Falling
long
out.
hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the end of it. And so the day I got my tiny little hairs come back to me, I was the happiest girl on this earth. I couldn't believe. And yes, eyebrows, eyelashes coming back, you becoming a beautiful woman again. So
Yep.
again, it
Yeah.
shows that, everything has like a coin, it has two sides, good and
Two
bad. Like,
sides.
you
So
learn the
true.
lesson, you learn that you need to be healthy, you need to take care of yourself. Life after cancer is not the same.
No.
It's not a fever which has come and gone and you take an antibiotic, you're done. It leaves its impact. And for
Oh, yeah.
us to take care of it better than before, we have
Yes.
to
Yep.
be cautious. Our family has to give us the same diamonds, same phones, and be tuned. Same time, we have to be cautious. We have to take each step knowing that, what if something comes up again? So
Yeah.
every morning I get up with this fear, like, what if it comes back? What if it comes back? So I have to
Yep.
be careful.
True.
So I,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So true.
as Dhara said, I just want to say something here. All the people who are actually, going through cancer at this time, and if they are watching us, or anybody, yes, losing your hair, your eyelashes, and whatnot. Yeah, yeah. Some people, they start feeling that they don't want to go out in public, or they kind of don't like the fact that being a woman, you don't have hair. But never feel that. Guys, never feel that, trust me.
Yeah.
As I said, before also, everybody is beautiful, and it doesn't matter. These are all just physical appearances. It does
That's
not
right.
matter. It does not
Mhm,
really have any impact, as long as you
mhm.
are cancer free, and whatever journey, whatever path you have to take, whatever you have to do, trust me. It might sound that I was very strong or whatever, but trust me, I went myself before my chemo started to my hair salon, and I told the lady, I said, okay, just shave off my hair.
Yeah. Me too.
And yeah, she was like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
she obviously she didn't know about it, right? And I told her, I said, don't worry, trust me. I had my husband actually took me, and he just held my hand and It's like, yeah, go for it.
Just do it.
I didn't want to go through that pain of, losing the hair every day, because literally when those strands come out, nobody can take it in the world. Trust me, it's very painful.
It
But
is.
yes, you have to, muster that courage, and that's what I did. I said, you know what, just shave off my head. And I did it. And then even after that, I remember, because my treatment started during summer, and it was like June and July, right? So I didn't want to wear a wig because it was getting so itchy, and I was like, no, I can't wear it. And my kids, in fact, my daughter, who was at back then probably just 8 or 9 years, she was like, Mom, don't worry, you don't have to wear a wig. Just go out
That's so
like that.
nice.
Just wear a bandana.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I would go to parties with my husband, and he would tell me, okay, dress up whichever way you want, and you don't have to wear a wig. Just wear your bandana and go. And he would hold my hand, and I would just go out and dance and have fun. Because you have to be confident about yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
You do.
When
you really
they say that, nobody has to compliment you that you look beautiful. You yourself should have that confidence. I know I'm looking the best. I have hair. I have no hair.
I don't. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
And it comes. It comes.
It
when
does.
You're going through all that.
It does. It really does. Yeah, I should have done what you did. I should have just shaved it off, but I shaved the side, and then I left the top long, actually, kind of like this. Yeah, and but I didn't think that I was going to care that much. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that hard, because my hair I've never been very attached to my hair. I change it all the time. And so I was like, oh no, like, I'm not really worried about that part of it. But man, when it starts to come out, you just like obsessively do this, and you just can't stop. And then eventually I just shaved it after, but I should have. But yeah, it's really, and I think that's one of the big changes for me too. After cancer, is that I've become a better version of myself, like you said, Dhara. And I think a big part of that is the self-confidence that you talked about, Sarika. I think it's, I've just gotten to know myself so well, because I had to, decide what I wanted to do in any given moment, and how I wanted to handle things. And yes, you have everyone around you supporting you, and that's so important and so wonderful, but no one will really understand except for you, because you're the one going through it. So you have to be able to rely on yourself. You do. And that takes confidence, and it takes trust in yourself and faith in yourself. And so that is definitely one of the biggest changes. I feel like a completely different person, which echoes what you ladies are talking about. Yeah. For sure. But these are, positives, right? We feel better on the other side.
Yep.
than we did going in, which is great. So because we've been talking about this, did you experience any other like body image issues after diagnosis and treatment? Whether that was because we talked before, some people gain weight, some people lose weight, most people lose hair if they're going through chemo. So did you experience any other sort of body image issues when you were going through treatment?
I think it all depends that what kind of cancer you had. A lot of people, they go through lumpectomy. A lot of people, they go through mastectomy, and then your body image changes accordingly, right? If you are going through mastectomy, then you have to go for the restructuring and whatnot. Even if you're going through lumpectomy, then yes, a lot changes. You have those permanent marks on your body. Your breast shape changes and everything. But trust me, again, as a cancer survivor, it really does not matter. It really does not matter. Like, I still look at those marks on my body, and especially, if anybody has taken the radiation, they put those permanent blue ink marks on your body.
The tattoos.
And I still remember the day I went for my radiation, and the first time, when they put those tattoos, as Rebecca said, so true. And I asked them, I said, are they going to go away? And she looked at me and she just nodded her head. She was like, no, they'll stay with you lifelong. So I said, good. She goes like, what do you mean? I said, good. That's going to remind me every day that, I fought this, and then that I'm a survivor, that I'm a strong person. And it will actually keep me going for a lifetime. Yeah. And that is true. I still look at my marks, and I'm like, I mean, if I can beat that, I can.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so funny. I do the same thing with my scars for my surgery. Because scars sometimes fade over time, and I don't think it will because it's a big scar. But sometimes I get scared that it's actually going to go away, because I love that reminder of how strong I was and what I did, and like how far I've come. And it's just this really obvious reminder that I can look at anytime I want of like what I've been through and how I got where I was. So yeah, I love that. That's great. And what about you, Dara? Did you experience any sort of body image issues?
For me, it's just that's what I would resonate with Sarika again, because it depends on what kind of cancer you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, again, those marks are marks for my surgery, which I've gone through. And every morning when I look at them, it reminds me that I have to be careful. I have to keep going. I have to
That's
keep
right.
fighting,
That's
regardless
right.
of what. Never give up. So it actually sometimes you feel, oh, you could have not have them, but again,
Mm-hmm.
it's a reminder to yourself because you might have forgotten. If the remarks go away, you will forget about it. You like, I'm
Right.
back to normal. So, like, but then you
Right.
forget about it. So it's kind of a great reminder for me every morning that
Yeah.
you need to be careful. You need to take care of yourself.
You
So I
take care of
guess
yourself.
yes, I didn't have any issues as such with those remarks because it's all covered and nobody got to know about it. So
Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, nobody ever know about it. So
That's
because
right. Yeah.
for me,
Um,
I was a person who
Sorry, Dhara. I
yeah.
just thought you were done. I just had something in mind and I want to say, but please continue.
Yeah, okay. Because but for me, I'm a person who is very private. I don't like. Initially I never spoke about cancer at all to
Mm-hmm.
anybody. So I
Mm-hmm.
always used to hide myself. Like, and again, I'm thankful to my Buddhist practice and the cancer warrior who actually today I sit here and I'm having a roundtable chat about it. It's the biggest victory for myself.
Right.
I'm
It's amazing.
who would not even hear the word cancer from anybody's mouth. Like, I used to fear that word. Like, I know it's not a taboo, but, for me personally, when I got it, I felt like I can't take it. Like, it's not me who can take all this in. So,
Yeah,
like, now when I really talk and I see those remarks and I feel proud of it, that is a big change in me. So, yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I
Sarika.
think that some people, for me, I mean, some people gain weight, some people lose weight. I lost a lot of weight. So I was 140 pounds when I was diagnosed, and at my lowest, I was 112. And I'm
Oh,
5'7", so I'm not a short person. So that
Mhm.
is way lower than it should be, and not anything near where I had ever been in my life. And my body looked completely different.
different.
And I actually had people say, like, oh, you're so lucky you lost weight. But for me, it was just like a constant reminder of what I was going through, which at that time I had not gotten to such like a good and positive place with it because I was still in the middle of it all. So that was
Mhm.
difficult for me. But I think if anyone's in that place right now, just know that everything is temporary, and that
Yes.
when you're through the you're just in like get through it mode right now. So do what you need to do to just get through it. And then when you're done and you're recovered, then you can, start getting back to normal. And it took time. It took really until this year for me to get back up to like a normal, healthy weight. But I got there. And so just know that it's temporary, and that, you'll be able to get back to normal. Sarika, sorry, you said you had something else that you wanted to add.
Yeah, it came to my mind that yes, we've been talking about all this, and I'm sure there are some people who are on active treatment and watching us right now. I just want to
Yeah.
say that yes, all this staying strong and positivity and everything is very very important. But remember, guys, we're not just saying that this is all what happens. Remember, you will get those moments. You're gonna
Yeah.
cry, you're gonna be
Yeah.
upset, you're gonna be throwing tantrums, you will be scared, you
Mm-hmm.
would be paranoid, you would be literally fighting with people in your house because
Yeah.
you're
Oh, yeah.
remember, everything changes, but remember, that's all normal. Like,
Yeah.
whatever emotions you get, don't worry about it. It's all
Yeah.
normal. It has to happen because your
Yeah.
life is like totally upside down. You've
Absolutely.
gotten through something. You got to know about something that you can never imagine. So that all will happen. Yes, all this comes later on. Yes, because I think we didn't talk about that. Yes, we
That's
are
right.
talking about everything is positive and good. No, it's not all
It's
good.
not all.
The all
No.
is good because now the bad has already happened.
Oh,
As I
yeah.
said, we
Oh,
all
yeah.
started from a very
Yeah.
negative point. But remember,
Yes.
it's okay. It's okay to feel scared. It's
It
okay to
is.
cry. It is
Absolutely.
okay, in fact, even to feel paranoia about it. But
Mm-hmm.
remember,
Yeah.
you'll only become strong when there is no other choice left. Once you
That's
feel
very
that,
true.
this emotion of the important part is that come out of it. Don't just
Right.
stay like that. It will
Right.
happen, but then just
Come out
come
of
out
it.
of it. Yes, we
Yes.
all are ladies, all of us are talking about it because we've gone through that emotion, and
Yeah.
then kind of overpowered it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, very.
Absolutely. Yeah. There were days that I felt absolutely insane. Like you're like angry for no reason. And then you're like so upset I spilled my tea in the car one day and just like burst into tears, and I like
Yep.
burnt the Brussels sprouts at Easter and like literally had to leave for 45 minutes and go for a walk because I just like couldn't be around anybody. And I think that's something that we talk about, the physical effects so much of treatment. I was not well prepared for the mental and emotional effects of it, of just feeling like, is this ever going to end? And just, like not knowing which way was up. So it's totally normal. And thank you for saying that. Totally okay to feel those things. And even now on the other side of it, I have days where I feel paranoid or I, don't feel good or I'm scared. And that's totally normal and totally fine. But excellent point that you make. Find ways that you can pull yourself out of it. And that might be a bit different for everyone. But yeah, that's great. Okay, we're running out of time, but if anyone does have any questions, we haven't gotten any questions so far, but if anyone does, you want to pop one in quickly, and then we can try to get to it at the end. There is just at least one more that I really want to see how you guys answer this one. But if you could go back to the day that you were diagnosed, what is something that you would tell yourself in that moment?
I don't know. Yeah, talking about it today, 5 years down the lane and being a survivor, and now probably, I think in a month's time I'll be declared cancer free.
Yeah.
I think now I can sit back and say, I would have just told myself, don't worry, darling, you can do it. You can beat cancer. You'll be fine. You'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
But yes, the feeling at that moment was different. But yes, that's the only thing that comes to my mind right now. That since I've already survived it, so probably my reaction would have been different.
Yeah.
I hope you all can see future, right? And then we all
Yes.
know that and trust me, everybody will make through.
That's right.
You will beat cancer.
Yes.
And that's what I hope.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Dar? Is there anything you would have told yourself if you could go back?
Yeah. If I go back again, like just like Sarika, we have the same 5 years down. If I go back, I would say thank God that you gave me at a time where I could fight it and overcome it. Because I'm really, really scared when I see people around not knowing until they come to a later stage, and then missing out those important things which they could. And I totally get it. When you don't know until you get to know, and you are in a state of shock where you cannot do anything. So I'm great that I couldn't be helpless that time. I had the chance, and I also would like to applaud myself for being persistent at that time and doing what I did, because if I wouldn't have done, I wouldn't be sitting here. So I kind of applaud myself for what I did, and
yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I think for me it would be something similar to, I think just you have no idea how this is going to affect your life. It's going to affect your life in lots of negative ways, but it's going to affect your life in lots of really positive ways too. So be on the lookout for the positive and try not to focus so much on the negative, and that you will get through it. You'll be okay in the end. And that reassurance, it would have been nice to have, especially in that room for sure. And we can't have it in that moment, but I just saw on the bottom someone asked foods to eat during chemo. The ones I mentioned, had mentioned green apples have the anti-nausea properties, and cabbage was not eating. I had a friend who would actually juice. It was for radiation. She would juice the cabbage and then mix some of the pulp back in with the juice and create like a paste almost, and put that on her radiation burns. And I watched them because she was in my support group, so I saw her every week, and we watched her burns. There were women who had radiation at the same time, and theirs were still bad and hers were healing. So and then there was one other question at the bottom that I saw was how did we overcome sort of the depression and the anxiety? What tools or what things did you guys do that helped with that, with the anxiety and the depression, the fear?
See, anxiety and depression, it's a part and parcel of this treatment. Anxiety is very normal. I mean, obviously you're going through such a big change in your life. Anxiety is normal. You have to talk to yourself, and you have to make yourself understand. And then of course, I'm sure everybody has their family with them, and you have to fight it yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. But as far as depression is concerned, I definitely want to say, guys, don't feel depressed. I mean, you have to make sure that a lot of patients actually, cancer survivors, they go through post,
Yeah,
depression or
PTSD.
yes, that is
Mm-hmm.
something which is you don't want that to take over you, not at all. I mean, there's a lot of treatment for that, and but again, I'm a very strong-headed person, and I totally believe rather getting any outside treatment for stuff like anxiety, and you feel paranoia, depression, it's you. Talk to yourself. You don't need any outside help for that. You don't need any medication for that. You have to treat yourself for that. Don't let yourself get depressed. Start doing whatever you feel is good, and stay positive. Remember, what you tell yourself, your body will listen to you. You
Yeah.
tell yourself that I am fine, I don't have to feel depressed, you will not feel depressed. And you have to find your
Yes.
own ways. There is no
Your own
one
ways.
answer
Yeah.
to this. There is no
That's
one
right.
answer to this. You all know how you are, and you have to treat yourself accordingly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, yeah, just tell yourself that I don't. If you can beat cancer, you can, come on, you can beat any disease.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
all are
Good
survivors. We
advice.
all are warriors.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And what about you, Dara? Was there anything in particular that helped your mental health, or for
Yes,
the just
because
anxiety? Yeah.
yeah, anxiety, stress, and these kind of issues is like a part of it. You feel it every moment. You feel it every time. You feel
Mm-hmm.
like crying. You feel like ending your life. Also, at one point, you
Yeah.
say, "I cannot go through this. Let me just end it." And you say to your mind because you don't want others to know about it. But
Yeah.
but the moment you start speaking to someone whom you can trust, you can definitely work on that anxiety. You can work on your
Mm-hmm.
stress. Getting connected to support groups is the biggest blessing in disguise,
So
because
important.
they help you. They know what kind of fears you're going. You
Oh
can
yeah.
give yourself out to them. Tell them this is what I'm feeling. Like a punching bag, you need somebody to punch out your feelings. It's
You
like
do.
that. Like sometimes you
Good
need to
analogy.
go. Yeah, you need to go open. You need to speak your mind out, because if you speak to yourself, you're getting depressed more. But if you speak to somebody, they might come up with something which might help you, because there's
Right.
no particular way you can fix this problem. This problem will go only once you're cancer free, like you finish the whole treatment. That's when you will feel relief. But on the
Absolutely.
time being, get connected to good friends, get connected to
Yes.
positive, do yoga, do meditation, do get connected to spiritual learning. For me, personally, Buddhism. I keep telling it because I know what it has given me. That
Mm-hmm.
courage, that hope to be positive, not to get depressed, is all that. And your family, everybody counts in this whole process. So I guess, like, you need
Absolutely.
to open up. Just open up.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think support groups are major. You don't have to go through this alone. Don't feel like you have to be, strong and silent. Find your people, I say. I like to say cancer is a team sport. Like, it really is. You just have to have healthcare professionals you trust. You have to have support, family members who are supporting you that you trust, and find your people who are going through this as well and can help you, and support you and talk you through stuff. It's just so important. And yeah, just to echo what you said, Dara, for me, and I've said it before in other episodes, but meditation was huge for me, for the actual, like, actually calming me down and reducing anxiety. But that's why I started doing it. But the unexpected part was just connecting with the spirituality that I had never had before. And what that allowed me to do was acknowledge that, like, okay, there's something bigger here happening. This is showing up in my life for some reason. So
Yep.
let's figure it out. And then I could focus on the lessons I was learning and the growth I was experiencing. And all of the positives just started stacking up, and all of the negatives just started decreasing. So that might not be meditation for you. That might be, journaling, or it might be drawing, or it might be, making voice recordings. It might be just anything that's spiritual or meditative to you, or that allows you to connect with yourself and whatever bigger power you think is out there. I think that's a really important part of it, for sure.
True.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have managed to very quickly fill an hour. I just want to thank both of you so much for being here and sharing. I know that it can be difficult sometimes to revisit these things, and I just want to thank you so much for sharing so openly. And I'm sure that it helped everybody who was watching.
Thank you to you, and thank you to Cancer Warrior always.
Yes.
Thank you, Rebecca and
Absolutely.
Dr. Ward. Yeah,
Yes.
we are really privileged to be here and share our experiences. And thank you so much to you and Cancer
Yes.
Ward.
Yes, and thank you again. Yeah. If anybody watching would like to find out more about the work that I do with Arenda Cancer Community, you can find us at arendablog.ca or just search on Facebook for Arenda Cancer Community, FB for Facebook, FB group. And for anybody who would like to know more about Cancer Warrior Foundation, as you may have, would have seen in the video at the beginning, they raise funds and awareness about prevention and early detection, raise funds for research, and they also help families, especially during this time during COVID, and when those who have cancer, their needs are heightened and their families' needs are heightened. So if you or anybody that you know is in need of help or support during this time, please find Cancer Warrior on social media, or you can call the number that's been scrolling across the bottom of the screen there, and we'll be able to get you some support. So thank you both once again for being here. Thank you, Cancer Warrior Canada and Navneet, and thank you everybody who is watching. And tune in, we'll have another episode with John V coming to you guys on Thursday. So keep an eye on the Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation Facebook page for that information. Thank you so much, ladies. It was really wonderful. It was so wonderful talking with you.
Same here. Thank you, guys. Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay.